Good evening and welcome to Spark of Light Spiritual Chat Show. And tonight we have a lovely guest who is a published author. Her name is Jennifer Lynch and she's from Norfolk. Jennifer has actually published many books, and I'll let Jennifer explain most of the books that she has published. But tonight she's coming on the show and she's going to talk to us about one of her new books that's been published in 2022, and it is called Fifth Dimensional. I will just now ask Jennifer Lynch to come onto the show and we will have a chat and let you know what it's all about. Okay, so now, Jennifer, I'm going to welcome you onto the stage. So hi, Jennifer. Hi there. How are you?
Hi, Alice. Lovely to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. It's great to have you. And I've been quite excited about this, in fact, Jennifer, because I know that you have actually published many, many books. I'm sorry I haven't read any yet, but I promise you I will be. I promise I will be. But Jennifer, I know you're from Norfolk, and I also know you're an angel card reader as well, and you're a coach. So you have got a lot of sort of bows to the cap there, and your books previously I know were very successful, and we hear you Angels was one of them, and Salsa,
yes.
Angels and Dance, the Silver Lining, William's Wishes,
yes,
Liberty Angel, Never to Be Told, and I know there was many more as well, Jennifer, but also you were even in Kindred Spirit and Spirit and Destiny magazine. So wow, so you have done quite a lot. But I know tonight you're wanting to talk mainly about the Fifth Dimensional Earth, which is the new book that came out in 2022. But can we just get a little bit of background on you, Jennifer, and where did it all begin for you? Because I know that you previously you did Reiki therapy, and I know you do your angel cards. So where did the actual publishing on writing books come in for you, Jennifer?
Right, now this is really interesting. So I first started getting interested in angels when I felt they were in my house and I was feeling their energy, and I got some paints out one evening and I started painting, and as I was painting I discovered that I was actually painting the outlines of angels. Until that point I hadn't really thought that much about angels. And then shortly after that, I do cover some of this in We Hear You Angels. I did have a head-on collision with a lorry, which was awful. In fact, I wasn't that badly injured, but I was very, very shaken up and had whiplash and all that sort of thing. So I ended up going to the village shop, and I was chatting to a lady there who said, had I met this woman in my village that was a Reiki healer? And I said, no, I never met her. And she said she runs groups and everything. So I started then going for healing with this lady who's called Katie. And then I got into spiritual development groups and started spiritual development classes, which went on for quite a long time. And at that time, I also started channeling spiritual poetry, and I was writing poetry first. It was just coming through like automatic writing. It's just, I was like doing the ironing or doing the chores. And at this time, I was a single parent on my own, with bringing up two boys. And suddenly it was like something had opened up within me after that accident. And I started, writing poetry and started to write a little story, and which later evolved into writing The Silver Lining. And also I wrote the novel William's Wishes as well. So that's basically how it started off. It felt very connected to energy. I did readings and things within the spiritual development group. And then I started to, my psychic abilities started to, what do you say, manifest, appear magically.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It just it opens up more, I think, as well. that when something traumatic can happen, it
Mm,
can be like that as well, can't it? And I'd imagine that
definitely.
was quite a traumatic experience for you,
It
being
was.
in the accident. Um,
Yeah.
Poetry as well is something I love. I love doing poetry. I love writing poetry. I
Yeah.
can understand what you mean about, the words when they come in and they just flow. And you've got to sit down, you've got to get a pen and paper, and you've got to go writing with it, and you've got to go with it. So yeah. So um do you still do poetry,
Yes,
or
I still write poetry. Some of it's quite quirky, some of it's a little political now, various things, but I do still write spiritual poetry as well. Yes, definitely.
yeah.
That was my opening up experience. And quite interestingly, I started when I was at school when I was 11. I wrote a poem then called The Street Urchin. And my English
Uh-huh.
teacher said to me, that she said about how we must look after our talents. Well, I didn't have a clue what she was talking about because prior to that, I had dyslexia. So I was
Oh,
quite a dyslexic child. I struggled with English. But when I wrote this poem, it was as if something shifted, and this poem that she thought it was really good. And that was, encouraged me in my life quite a lot, you know.
yeah,
By
yeah.
writing.
Is there I know you've done many books, but this book in particular that you've done, what is that about? What is this book about?
Okay, so here's the cover of the book. You might
Fifth
see it
dimension.
online. Quite a
Yeah,
few people have seen it online. I think Google have been quite good at sort of putting that, like in places where people can see it, which I was quite surprised at actually. So it's got many chapters, but I'm just going to read the chapter headings to tell you roughly what it's about. So the
yes.
first chapter is about breaking out of illusion. The second chapter is how do we access the fifth dimension? Awareness, church and spirituality. I don't know if I'm going to read all these. Feeling empowered. These are some of them. Victim consciousness. Are you ready to decide for yourself? Forgiving our parents. So a lot of the things in here are about, things that we need to go through in order to evolve spiritually into the fifth dimension. So I've got here, can you still have wounds and awaken? Can you still have things to heal and awaken at the same time? Awakening in my story, well, of course we can awaken and still have things to heal because we are work in progress, aren't we? We're always sort of like learning as we go along. But there's also about here, like, when people say they're awake and spiritual, some people are very what's the word for it, very spiritual people, but aren't necessarily feeling that they are awake to everything that is going on. And
Yeah,
this is sort of like now the energy of that is a little bit changing because I feel that, like, as the fifth dimension comes in, people are breaking out of illusion as well, and they're seeing things through a different viewpoint. A lot of the past illusions and the things they believed are rapidly changing. I'm just going to read a bit from this book. How can we remain in the fifth dimension? Being mindful, staying present, and not allowing our mind's mad monkey to run riot is easier said than done. We seem to have lost the ability to do one thing at a time in this fast-paced world. And then I talk a lot about how people we're always trying to do 6 things at once now. So it's
yeah,
very hard for
very
people to
fast.
remain
Yeah,
present and
yeah,
listen to that voice and listen to their higher self,
yeah,
because people are sort of we're
yeah.
expected to multitask, and
Well, that's it. It's expected of you now, isn't it? Which is it's quite a lot, really.
it is a lot.
Yeah,
And
it
the
is quite a lot for us
pressure of
to do.
social
Yeah,
media and having this constant way we look, the constant, you know, image sort of thing. It's like, you know, people are bombarded, aren't they? And somehow with the fifth dimension, we need to reconnect to ourselves again and put all that
But this
chatter.
is the thing, though, isn't it? And this is the thing that's happening. I feel now. I think there's a massive shift going on. There's a massive
There is.
change going on, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And one of the big changes I feel is about group consciousness, people forming groups together so they can evolve together and help each other. It's
That's right.
not so much about the 3D energy, which is all about me, my job, my social status, my car, you know, my mobile. It's not about that anymore. It's about, you know, more community, caring for each other, finding, you know, going back to growing vegetables in your garden, finding ways of how would you survive if things totally changed, you know, because they're likely to, you know,
Yeah.
this thing that we've been going on for so long, it cannot continue the way it is, and
No.
things are going to change. Do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree. Things are changing and evolving all the time, but I also feel that we need to pull together more. You know, we need to pull together more. And I do agree with you with the group side of things, and working in groups as well. It has to be a team built thing, doesn't it? It has to be that way, and there has to be love put into a group as well for it to work.
Yeah.
And if you put love in a group, then I feel it will excel. Do you know? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a Facebook community called Natural Co-Creators, and the idea of setting that up was so that we can support each other, you know, not just on a spiritual wavelength, but if you've got a spiritual business, if you're photographer, videographer, coach, whatever you do, there are people in that group that would be able to help you. So it's not all about making money. This is about, you know, helping each other move forward as well, because obviously, you know, with the explosion of everything, you know, there's a lot of competition, and, you know, it's like we need to go back to, you know, helping and supporting each other, because otherwise some people would just give up because there's, you know, 50 photographers in their area or what have you, or
That's right. That's
60
right.
Reiki therapists.
Yeah.
So many people
Yeah.
who are therapists in Suffolk and Norfolk. It's unreal, you know. And readers, there's a lot of them as well. It's
Yeah.
like, and it's about reaching the people that can hear your message. It's not about competition. It's about the
No,
people who want to connect with you and
that's
resonate
of
with your
course.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's, I think we give out so much though.
Mm,
And when you don't get help back, it can be
mm,
draining. It can be very
mm,
draining, and it can affect your own emotional and physical health as well.
mm,
You know, it can be challenging. So,
mm.
so tell us more about your book then. That's what more is in this book that would be good for us to
Yeah.
um, look at and read.
I think, you know, I talk about the Matrix.
Oh, right. Okay. Very good. Yeah.
And it's only a very short book. It's only like 90 odd pages. The other thing is you could read it in a day. If you're a reasonable, quick reader, you could read this book in a day. I could have gone more extensive into certain things, but at the time I was just working with, you know, partly channeled, um, partly what I know. I've got to hear Warriors of the Rainbow, and
Yeah.
this is all about how diversity is coming in. We are all warriors of the rainbow. We are all different, and about honoring our uniqueness and working together, you know, as well. So I put here our environment, our community and voice, You know, it's like, it's important that we all work together. It's quite, all I can say is that people need to read it. But in order to stay in the fifth dimension, you do have to find that quiet time, you know, where you can meditate, you know, where you can do what you do. I mean, I when I meditate, and I tell people, that's what I've done for the last 20 odd years. I always and then when my mind silences, I then just go into the meditation, because I'm somebody who can't just go, right, I'm meditating, that is it. You know, I have to be able to slow down the breath. And when I I can slow down the breath. But also, I think there is a misconception that people feel they have to meditate for hours and hours. And I don't believe that. You could just do 10 minutes a day and it would make a difference. How do you feel about that?
I feel that, I mean, I don't think I've ever managed to sit for an hour to meditate. I just sit in the power with spirit world. But before that, I did used to do meditation, like, you know, the kind of meditation that you would sit and you would hear the music, and you know, it relax you, like relax your body, and I used to do all of that. I don't do any of that now. I just sit with spirit world, and I just shift my awareness and my thoughts and my consciousness to spirit world, and I just go that way and just connect with them. And before I know it, I am away with them on a journey, and I'm having a conversation with them. People would think, you know, anybody watching this who doesn't understand it will probably think, oh, she's mad. But that is how it works for me, and I'm sure it does for many other mediums as well. But I would feel that people who can't do that, meditation would be very good to quieten the mind, you know, and release that pressure of the mind as well. Because you did mention earlier on, life is so busy now, and it is. You're quite right. Everybody is just so busy. You know, I think some countries, you know, we should take a leaf out of their book, you know, when they have, you know, breaks in between their work, and, you know, they're a bit more
about that as well.
I
talk about that in the book, about how people can't even go for a walk at lunchtime or anything like that anymore. It's gone from a lunch hour to like half an hour to eat sandwiches at your desk. I mean, it's not right that someone shouldn't have a proper break, you know.
No, it's not.
We've become this fast-paced society that thinks that, you know, fast food, fast society, you know, fast work, you know, everything is rush. And then they wonder why there's a mental health crisis. I mean, this is all part of it. Somehow we've got to turn back the clock. Somehow we've got to support each other more. And it's more like a revolution of the heart than everything else. It's like about returning to the heart, returning to love, because that is what has been forgotten. You know, when things happen, when tragedies happen, quite often, you know, like somebody will fall over in the street, or a child is you know, are picked on by teenagers, and people just walk past. People do not, they don't care. They'd rather take out their mobile phone and film it, which is like, where have we got to, you know?
Some people don't even see it because they're on their mobile phone when they're walking.
They got their ear things in, earbuds, like, you know, and you're surprised they're not run over. So we do have to change, and I feel that this also, 5D is very much about trusting and trusting. So you're on a path, you've aligned with your soul purpose, you know what you're doing or what I'm doing, and just trusting that we are working with the higher energies, we are working with God, divine, you know, that we are going to be all right. Whereas I feel that fear is such a negative emotion that once you start to fall into fear, then it becomes like a downward spiral, doesn't it? And then more and
does.
more fear comes in.
That's
So,
correct.
you know, it's like trusting in the process. I remember when I first heard that, I thought, what does that mean? Trust in what process? You know, what process is that? You know, like cooking a piece of meat, or, you know, putting a cake in the oven. What process? But the process is just that you've asked for it, you know, trust it's been given to you, you know. But also I feel that people are very blocked on receiving as well. So that is another thing, isn't it? Giving and receiving.
Yeah.
Before you can even really start, you know, accessing this, you've got to have your giving and your receiving in balance. And so
Yeah.
quite often when you do readings, I bet you find there are people that give
Yeah.
and will not accept any help, or
Yeah.
will not accept receiving.
Yeah. And of course, when you do get to that point when you are giving all the time, then you wonder then, well, why do I feel like this? Why do I not feel well? Why am I so exhausted? Why is it affecting me physically and mentally? But it's because there's no balance. There's no balance there, because you can't keep giving all the time and not getting some accepting some help back and getting that
Yeah,
receiving. But
yeah.
then there's an awful lot of expectations from people as well, though, that it doesn't matter what you do, it's not good enough. You know, so there's those expectations as well that puts pressure on people. It's so much pressure on people. Don't you
There
agree with
is.
that? Yeah,
There
yeah,
is. It's all
yeah.
got to be a certain way, look a certain way, you
Be
know,
a certain
even
way.
like going out with as readers, you know, like we've all got to have all these sort of,
Mhm.
you know, things on our table. You know, just like you're gonna have your crystal, your little angels, you could have your candles. And
Yeah,
sometimes I think, what would you like if you turned up and you had nothing on your table at all? Nothing. Would
yeah,
it really make any difference? It probably wouldn't make any difference whatsoever, because you will probably then attract people who didn't care about stuff like that. They just want the reading, they just want the connection, they don't care about all the frills that go with it, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you still do readings then? Do you still
Oh
do?
yeah, I worked at a big event in Ipswich at the weekend,
All right.
Life Arts, which was put on by
Uh-huh.
Chris Cousins, and it was his 25th anniversary of the event. So I just did the Sunday, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of readers now, and
Yeah,
it was a fabulous event. They even had outside going on because it was 25 years celebration. We
yeah.
had ABBA tribute band, Elton John and Bee Gees. So we had like the night before, I went up the night before to dance because I love to dance.
Yeah, yeah. So do I.
So that was really good fun. I was being exhausted by the time I was giving readings. I was like, oh, I need another cup of tea.
Yeah. But it does lift the soul, doesn't it? It just
It
raises that
does.
vibration, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. So that happened at the weekend. Yeah, we have Chris has events in Suffolk, Essex, and is that Suffolk and Essex? Yeah,
yeah.
Chelmsford. Have you heard of that place? Chelmsford Racecourse used to.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Colchester.
heard of
Have
it.
you heard of
I've heard,
Colchester?
yeah, I've heard of Colchester.
And Woodbridge, yeah.
Yeah.
And this one at Trinity Park, which is on the edge of it.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Trinity Park.
Yeah, that's where I was, at Trinity Park on
Oh
Sunday. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh, very nice.
with my
And did,
book.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I take it your book is selling well then, because all your other books have. So, um,
Well,
yeah.
We Hear You Angels, this one,
Mhm.
which has now got a new cover. I changed the cover. I've made it a
Oh,
bit more funky.
oh, that's good that you mentioned that. Yeah, so as people would know, then you have got a new cover.
So when you
Yeah,
look
that.
on Amazon, it's this one now.
Yeah. Oh,
I just thought that isn't, you know, it's
uh-huh.
okay.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
So
Yeah,
I changed this cover, and there might be some old ones kicking around like that still, but anyway, so this book I wrote in 2014, but there's a lot of channeled stuff in this book that's still very relevant for the ascension process and where we're going now. So somebody read it not so long ago and they said, this is still very relevant. And this got to #1 in Angels. And yeah, that's when I got the call from Spirit and Destiny. And I thought, I think they phoned me up. No, they emailed me. And I was like really shocked because I thought, like no one had noticed but me. And then I thought that was really nice to be able to be in the magazine. Yeah. And I lost my sister to cancer. It was a sad story. And they wanted to write about that, but also about my how angels started coming in for me at that point. So it wasn't just the lorry and everything. Before that, in 1986, which is a long time ago now, when I lost my sister to cancer, that's when I started seeing the light, basically, and I felt connected to the light and started to be aware that there was something far more powerful out there than I'd imagined. So that was really interesting. And I believed in healing energy, and that all came about at that time. So that is very important to me as well. And I also wrote, I'm going to talk about them all now. Shut up. Joking. And I wrote Salsa. This is totally different. I've written Salsa, Never to Be Told, and William's Wishes, and they are all novels. And this is a fun book, and it's even a bit saucy. It is so different from We Hear You Angels. This is a saucy book about salsa. Can actually get this one on Waterstones as well because it's been ordered, so they've got that in stock, but they haven't got the other one in stock as yet. They're on the website, but they're not showing. And basically, this is great. This is about a group of salsa dancers who go on holiday to the south of France together. And all their secrets start to come out when they're on the plane, and things that some of the friendships are severely tested. And there's a lot of salsa talk in there, about the different dances. You've got salsa, bachata, kizomba, and the characters trying out the different dances and their experience of the different dances. And then one has a big romance in France and everything changes for her. So it's also one of the main characters, well, not one of them dead main characters, but quite main characters, is Sarah. And she's a yoga teacher, and she meditates and she practices mindfulness. So when she goes to salsa, she's like, oh, no, I'm not mixing with this lot. I'm just not really socializing with them. I'm just going to dance, and that's it. I'm getting involved, And then she falls for one of them, and everything starts to change because, she gets pulled in. And so that's all quite interesting because it's like, she gets herself, pure and inverted commas, she's not done that. She's got the t-shirt. She'd never go there again. And then it was getting sucked in, That's quite interesting as well.
I'd like to buy that as well, that one. The salsa comes, like I used to do Latin American dancing, Latin American. So, the samba and the jive, the rumba, and the paso doble. That is something that was very much a big thing in my life. I would be really interested in reading that. So that would be cool. Yeah. It sounds a really good story as well. So how do you get your stories? How do you manage to get your stories? Is it thoughts that come into your head, or is it through experience in some cases, jotting together?
Yeah, I would say like salsa. I mean, none of those characters are anybody in particular in the book, not one of them.
Yeah.
But some of them are a combination of some of the people that I know through dance. So Cameron good looking guy. He's a bit, full of himself, and you do meet that type of guy quite often dancing, and he's sort of like, wouldn't commit. He's got some secrets going on. I bet not say it all. He's got some
Yeah.
secrets going on, and people do not find out what's going on with him. He keeps his cards very close to his chest.
Uh-huh.
And I think, as a reader, you've met all types of people as well. So I've got the people that I've met obviously through dancing, because I've danced for like 20 odd years.
Yeah.
And also all the people I've met through obviously giving readings and coaching to. So yeah, it's interesting. So some of the things, I've made a plan for most of my books. I haven't written any of my books without a plan. So I've got a plan for each chapter. But even as I'm writing the chapters, I might have a new idea to shove in there.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
flexible thing. I might suddenly think, well, he could say have an ex-wife that nobody knows about, or or she could have a dog that is old and this, and I might, you know what I mean, and suddenly think of new ideas as I go along.
Yeah.
I could be going for a walk, I could be driving in my car. That isn't such a good thing to be thinking about your writing when you're driving.
It does happen though. You do. I mean, you're driving, and before you know it, you're there at a
whole chapter
destination, and you're like, okay, I've just been having a good conversation about the world there and how I want to change things, and now I've arrived.
Yeah, definitely. And also one of the characters, Jade, I very much think she was a certain type that I would have met, working when I did a lot of temping and secretarial stuff and admin as well over the years, as well as being a therapist. And I would meet classic office types, and I suppose she was like that really, but she wore too high heels, and like he was always moaning about how her feet hurt, but she'd still wear really high heels, things like this, sort of funny little stereotypy things, and I would just get ideas about refining it. Like, she wasn't happy with her weight, and things like that. But of course, Sarah comes along. She tries to help them all, because she's got this once she sort of start to get dragged in, she's like, well, you don't have to put up with that, or why don't you change this? And it's quite interesting combination, because there are quite a few spiritually minded people that go to salsa in my salsa groups. There are quite a lot of spiritual people that do Reiki or do other things as well.
Well, dance as well, though. I see dance as freedom, to express and be yourself in a part that you probably wouldn't be. There's something that comes out of you with the music, and you're able to express yourself. You're able to just bring in that beauty and love. For instance, like when the rumba is a romantic dance, it's a slow romantic dance, and you wouldn't behave like that in normal situations, but because of the music and because it's part of the dance, you're able to just let go, and be free and just be part of that, and just part of that music. And so I can understand why some spiritual people would like dance, because it's an expression of their own self, a part of them that perhaps it never even knew that they had. Do you feel that when you dance as well?
It's like, how we struggle to be sometimes in the present with meditation, and like we've got to remain present. We mustn't worry about the past or the future or anything like that. And then when you're dancing, all you can do is think about the present, because you're well, you don't even think about it, you're in it, because you're like, you're told not to anticipate what the man is doing. So you're not anticipating, you're not going to say, oh, he's suddenly going to put me into this, I know he is. No, you don't know what the man is going to do. You don't know where you're going to be led. You're a follower. So you just wait until it happens, and then you know it, you will do this, you know, crossbody lead, dilly canoe, whatever they put you in, and you just do it. So it's like you are totally present when you're dancing. And I think that's what makes people feel so great. They're not thinking, oh, when I do this turn, you know, what am I going to eat for dinner tomorrow? You just don't think like that. You're just not. You're not thinking. So dance is a sort of inverted commas non-thinking exercise, and I feel that is what is so great about it.
Yeah. Plus, the music takes you to a different place, doesn't it?
And the music,
every song, you know, whether it be the salsa, the rumba, the jive, it all takes you, or the cha-cha, it takes you all to different places, you know. It is very good. It is very good for you to be able to do. I just can't do it the same now as the arthritis, but I do it in my head.
Maybe listen to the music and just have a little movement to it when you can, and you know, that's the thing. But it's really interesting, and the cha-cha's making a bit of a comeback now. So you know, it wasn't, you know, like at the salsa dances they play cha-cha as well. I don't think so many people can dance that, because they didn't, you know, like do it in the olden days. I did it in the olden days, cha-cha, and it was more like dancing from side to side. Well, now it's going up and down the line. So it is different, but it's the same beat, the same steps, and the same amazing rhythms. I love it. I just
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too. I never miss a series of Strictly.
Oh, cool.
I never miss a series. But then Shirley Ballas was my dance teacher at one point in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of fondness and love there for her. So
Oh, is she from your part of the world, is she?
No, she was years ago. I used to go down, used to travel from Scotland.
Really?
Yeah, I used to travel from Scotland, every single week. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Then you would come back on the train very early on a Sunday, and you'd be going to work.
So she was your like coach. She was your coach.
She was my dance teacher.
You must have been really good. That's all I can say.
She was amazing. No, and as well, she still is. But I mean, I think commitment as well. Something about commitment too, isn't it? You know, if you really want to do something, you have to be fully committed, 100%, not 99%.
I love that.
It's also as well, you know, the same with being working with Spirit World, you know, it becomes part of your life, you know, just like the dancing became part of my life. It all becomes part of your life, you know, and it shouldn't be, you know, something that is becoming like a nuisance, or you know, or being a little bit of kind of detrimental at times to you. It should be something you want to do, something you enjoy doing, something. To me, it's my passion. Now. And you know, no matter what goes on in your life, you know, and we've all got bumps, haven't we? We've all got our ups and downs. We've all got our challenges as well. But when we actually bring ourselves back with spirit and connect to our higher self, you know, and you feel the change. You feel the change in you, you know. And I think as well with yourself. I mean, you've came a long way. You have came a long way, but yeah, because you were doing all your therapies.
Yeah.
You said you worked. I think you said in an
I
office.
worked part-time doing
Yeah,
admin and secretarial stuff, and I still
yeah,
had massage clients, and I used to go and sell magnetic bracelets as well. So at one point I was doing three things. I was selling magnetic wristbands at events, and I didn't have many therapy clients then. I think I
yeah.
had more therapy clients later.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was juggling. Being a single parent, it's like you're always juggling things,
Yeah.
especially if you're a self-employed single parent, not the easiest thing to do in the world.
No.
But I
No.
did realise it was when I, after I'd had my children, and I was working in this gift shop, because I thought it just fits, like with the kids. And
Yeah.
then I had the head on with the lorry. And after that time, I said, right, I'm training now to be a massage therapist. And they wouldn't let me have an hour or 2 hours, I think it was, to leave early to get to the college to do the massage training. So I quit my job, and of course I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, really, don't do it. But I was so determined that I'm going to train in alternative therapies. I quit my job, and it was really, really tough. I had like a super tough year with no money coming in while I did this massage therapy course for a year. And then after that, I got back into the office work, part-time office work and things like that, but at least I then could start with the therapy part-time as well. It was really hard. I mean, I can't tell you, it's like a permanent juggling act, because I didn't have any support. So yeah, I am proud of my achievements. I'm proud of my books. I have self-published them, but I'm extremely proud of them. And I think they look great inside, and I think, all that typing, that's good. I did that really, because
So you did it all then. You didn't have a ghostwriter or anyone. You
I
did
done
it all.
everything.
You did it
I've
all.
done it.
Wow.
I've done the setting up. I've done it all. I didn't make that cover. I got a friend to make the cover.
Yeah.
I did all the inside, the setting out, the putting on Amazon, the whole shebang. Yeah.
Fantastic. Were you ever taught how to do that, Jennifer, or is this something that you learned on the go?
No, I learned it on the go, and I've had failures as well. Obviously, I've had like, oh dear, I'm going to have to take that off. But the joy of self-publishing is, if you do want to change something, you can create a new edition. And also is becoming a lot more popular now. A lot more popular than I guess there's so many people that are writing their own books. I do help one-to-ones with people, but to be honest with you, it's YouTube's about this sort of thing now. If you put KDP, the Kindle publishing KDP, and you put that into YouTube, you can look up how to do most of it yourself now. But yeah.
So did you do that at the beginning? Then did you do all this, like find out all this, do this research and finding all this out yourself?
Well, you can upload books from Word, as long as you know how to use Word, and you can download the templates. I did find that out by reading about it. You can download the templates, put it all in, but then obviously you've got to I just looked and just
I can understand that. Because I do understand that, because there's so much. Well, I'm talking about myself here, that I've had to learn through COVID. Do you know? I mean, Zoom was the first thing, and learning about Zoom was it was challenging. But now, I don't mean anything, but now Zoom is nothing to compare to what I'm having to learn and do now. Do you know? But it is about learning, though, isn't it? It is about finding out. And expanding your own awareness and knowledge, and going with the direction that you're feeling pulled to go to. You know, sometimes we get that feeling, I'm getting pulled to do this, don't know why, but I'm getting pulled to do it. I want to do it, don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. Yeah.
I
So,
think you should go with that instinct, you know, that, you know, and some of us are born communicators. We have to communicate. That's what we do, you know, and you know, most of those people are people that have radio shows, or they like to do readings for other people. I mean, I'm not a medium. I do occasionally have somebody come through, and I will say that that's not very often. That is not really my thing. I do channel with the divine, and, you know, I do get messages, but if it's somebody asks me about, say, the deceased loved one, it has to come through my guides rather than from them direct. You know, it's sort of like, okay, I'll ask what messages I'm getting about this, and they may say a few things, you know, like he was like this or she was like that, you know, but I'm not a medium. I do like mediums. I think you're very clever, you know, and it's amazing, and the mediumship. But I felt like at one point they wanted me to do this, spirit wanted me to do mediumship, and I just said, no, go away. Just like,
you know, it's quite interesting listening to you, you know, when you say not a medium, because you very much are a medium. And you just don't seem to recognize it or accept it yourself, but you very much are a medium, and working with you, and that's why you do get probably maybe a little bit of intrusion now and again. You do, you are a medium, and it's them that's guiding you as well through your books with the angels, and also all your other books too. But you are a medium, and I can pick this up off you from here. You're very much a medium, and you could sit, I know you do your angel cards, but you could quite easily sit there and you could connect with spirit world and give a fantastic delivery of evidence in a reading. And I know you could, because I can feel it. I can feel it. Right, so you are a medium. So don't knock yourself down on that.
Stop denying it. Stop denying it.
Yeah.
I must admit, the first significant death in the family ever was my grandfather, and he'd had several strokes, and he was in a bad way, you know, and he was very, very grumpy because he lost the ability to talk, and in his later years, and when he died, you know, it was like I didn't know what to think, you know, because I didn't have a sadness about it or anything like this. But then I was probably about 10 years old. I had the day off school. That was a good thing. I thought, oh, I've got the day off school because my mum was sad. And then I started dreaming that he was in the room, and he was trying to, he was in the room with my grandma, where my grandma lived in Yorkshire, and they had a budgie and everything. And she'd be sitting in the chair like this, you know, on her own. I don't know what she was doing, you know, probably watching television or something. Well, I don't really remember TV. And my granddad, he suddenly, after he died, he was in the room with her. So I was viewing this, and he was trying to tell her that he was okay. He's trying to tell her he was healed and he was better now, and he wanted her to know, and he wanted me to tell her. But obviously I was only about 10 years old, and I can't tell her that. She's just gonna, you know. And then there have been people that have come through to say to me that they want me to tell the family that they are okay. But the first one was my granddad, you know, and I think I was so freaked out by that. Maybe that part got me.
Yeah, it is actually, though, quite normal. It's quite common as children, you know, because we are still very much new to this world. So we're still very much connected spiritually with spirit world, you know, and they've got that innocence as well, no expectations at all, you know, from the life that we were starting to live, you know. And it's also very, very much very common in teenage years as well, when we're changing into adulthood with the hormones, etc. But so do you know, your book itself, Fifth Dimensional Earth, how do you feel, or what do you think may be coming up for us?
Radical changes, weather patterns, political changes. I feel that the restrictions and things, I feel like as more control is pushed onto us, there will be kickback, but I don't feel it will be kickback like as a revolution in the way it was before. But I do believe that people will find strength in groups. And, you know, I do feel that all sorts of things are going to happen, like food supplies are going to be chains are, you know, are going to be affected with weather and things like this that are going on. More wars. We've reached a point of things have got to change, you know, and I think things will change. But I think the way they will change is that we will change them, because large groups of people are beginning to wake up and realise that, you know, we want something different to this. We can't just keep going through.
Can't go on like this anymore.
Same old. Change the government. It's not fixing the problems. You know, so the higher dimension, in a way, we're going to be breaking away, I feel, and doing our own thing a little bit more. I do explain about that in the book about sovereignty, and I think the people are going to stand in their own sovereign selves and say, no, I'm sorry, but I don't want that, you know, and even say like digital money comes in and things like that. I feel that there'll still be currency, because they'll just be the people that have made a new currency to trade. So I feel like a split off. There'll be the people that the population that wants to go with the new system, and there'll be the other ones that say no. So I sort of feel like it is going to be a bit of a split off, you know. But I don't think you can deny the political and the sovereign and the spirituality. It's all part of us evolving.
It's part of one, isn't it? Yeah, it is part. It is part of us. I do agree with you on that. It definitely is. You know, and there is so many people now, I think, are just saying, I've had enough of this, you know, and they want to know the truth as well, and, you know, and they want to live a life of peace, you know, and not on a day-to-day basis of things being so negative all the time, you know. Sooner kind of try to solve one problem and you're in another one, you know, and then you're going round in circles and then nothing's really getting changed, you know. It's in fact, I mean, I don't watch the news for that reason. My husband does, so he tells me it all, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear it anymore, you know. But that's the reason I don't watch it, is because, oh my goodness, the energy is so flat, isn't it? It really is, you know. And it's always a blame culture, you know. Well, it was this one's fault, it was that one's fault. Nobody's actually going to say it was my fault, you know. Put my hand up and I'll sort it. I'll try and sort this, you know. So yeah, I agree with you. You know, we're needing more love in the world.
We need more love.
Yeah, we need more love. Yeah, and this was another reason why I started the chat show, because I was told that we need to have more knowledge from people about their own skills, what they're doing in life on a positive way, a positive way of upliftment, you know, whether it be mediums, authors, astronomy, paranormal, whatever, you know. It has to be something that is coming through in a positive way to actually say, do you know, there is more to life, you know, and when we do pass the spirit world, whether you believe it or not, you know, and you don't have to believe it. This is your choice. This is your freedom of choice on this. You know, you're moving to another part of your life in a different dimension.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, and I was told, get this love out there. Love is needed. Love is needed in the world. That, you know, get, you know, this chat show going and get it blossoming with inspiration and hope, because hope is a big thing, you know. And a lot of people, you know, without getting too deeply, there are so many suicides that it has been horrific. And it's because I'm needing a little bit of hope, and to know that, you know what, see what you feel, other people feel. See what you're worrying about, other people worry about. You're not on your own here.
No.
Do you feel a bit like that, Jennifer?
I feel that we have to come together and share and support each other. Yeah, definitely at this time, because, you know, we're moving through these big changes at the moment. And so we do really need to support each other and send that love out. You know, we mustn't turn our backs on people.
No.
And we got to embrace our differences, you know. It's blame is no good. Definitely not where we're headed. Definitely not where we're headed.
No. So your book then will be inspirational, and it'll be guided as well. As well. Yeah. I'm quite interested in reading that book. I'm also I'm interested in reading the salsa one as well. That looks a good one too. You know, so you do have, I know you've got lots of books that you have done. I know that, and I'm sure they were all done and wrote through situations that were going on in your life at the time. But I do like the other one, We Hear You Angels. I think that is very profound, you know, because you know, I work clairaudiently, so I hear spirit world. Also work as well, clairsentience as well, but I'm clairvoyant, I can see too, but I just feel like hearing your angels. Angels can be anyone. They don't need to be angels puffed up and got nice wings about them. Angels can be anyone.
Even you can have human angels as well, can't you?
Human angels, absolutely. And I liked that one as well. We Hear You Angels. That touched something with me, that book.
Brilliant.
Because it is important, because when something goes on in your life and all of a sudden someone steps forward, tells you something, or someone phones you, or you get a message from somebody just out of the blue, and you say, I needed to hear those words. You know, exactly. So angels are in many forms, and I feel if we keep that love to our heart and we share that love to the people, then we're doing good to our world. We're doing good. So I'd like to thank you so much for coming on to the show tonight. I have also been putting banners up here, you know, about how the people can get in touch with you as well, Jennifer. I've been doing that all through the show. But it's been great to chat with you. We've never met before. This was our first time meeting was tonight, but I will keep in touch with you as well.
Excellent.
I feel we've got some more things ahead that I would like to work with you on. Don't ask me what it is. Just know because I'm getting told here that I'm going to see you and I'm going to meet you again. Okay, and I believe that. Wow. You're a beautiful soul. You've came a long way. You've done very well, and for a single mum doing what you've done, I applaud you on that. I really do. Well done, sweetheart. Well done. Thank you for coming on the show. And for anyone watching, please remember you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Sparkle of Light Spiritual Chat Show. If you can subscribe, it's free. It's free. It just helps moving on as well. It would be very good if you could. And also, you've got all of Jennifer's links there as well, and she's also on Facebook. Is it Jennifer Ann Lynch?
Jennifer Ann Lynch, for no hyphen, just Jennifer Ann Lynch. Yeah,
all right,
that's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
So
Brilliant.
you're
Yeah,
also
that's
on
me.
there as well. Yeah. So so thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We will be on YouTube, and we will also be going live onto Spotify as well on a Thursday about 8 p.m. So thank you. Good evening, good night, and remember, look after yourself and each other.
Thank you. Thanks so much.